Hello and welcome to the Valve Bounce, where every conversation deserves to be added to the words of wisdom. Steve, how are ya?
To the words of wisdom. What the hell are you on about, Damo?
Charles Leclerc, the water. It's the
Oh, the
water.
water, the water's coming in the car.
Oh, stay with me. Like, I know you've been sick and it's been a busy week or two, but Jesus. Oh, come on, man. All right.
Oh, hang on. Fuck, hang on a second. Hang on.
Hang on.
Something is. Oh my god. I don't know what is going on.
What
I need to just.
what are you doing to this broadcast? What's happened?
I
What's
am.
happened?
I am having a meltdown. I
Okay.
have things playing in the background for no reason.
Oh, you opened up the YouTube page, so now we're echoing and stuff, yeah?
Yeah, that's the one. Let me just kill.
Everybody slow clap for Steve.
I know, we're doing well.
Well,
We're doing
anyway,
well.
Triple Eight Red Bull fan,
There we go.
thanks for the early comment. Yeah, good. Max in the fourth fastest car. Liam and Isaac on the Red Bull second driver curse. I love it. Thanks for jumping in early. Okay, welcome everybody. Steve, are you
back.
ready? Are you ready?
Look, what would it be without a technological meltdown? I'm over 40 now, so
Okay, boomers, let's go.
unbelievable. I just couldn't find the actual page to sort it out.
Right.
So
okay.
sorry about that, everyone.
Cracking
Lots
start.
of back chat. Cracking start.
Well, while we're on that kind of bumpy start, so we have got some new overlays, and I'm going to do my best to do the transitions so that we can, make it look a little better on the stream. Bear with me if I do click on the wrong one or forget something, but yeah, we're going to do our best. We're trying to make it a little better. And so I guess with that, we're going to do an F1 Grand Prix review. So
Woo!
click on this. Are they ready? Beautiful. And hopefully that's all come through beautifully. We got a nice little title slide. Happy days. Australian F1, Steve. Wow.
Yeah.
Lando,
winner.
Wow.
Winner, chicken dinner. Bit of McLaren winning,
Yeah.
bit of McLaren domination. We better
Yeah.
talk about that at some point.
Little, they were trying to play it down, but in the end, they had it covered.
They did. And I think we're going to see that even more so in China this week, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I think that might be right. But, I was impressed. I know, we've had our moments with Lando, mostly because of the British, commentary team.
I don't know what you're talking about, Damo.
Okay, no, just erase all those
I'm
other
Team
videos.
Lando.
Yeah.
Let's go, Lando. Woo! No rest.
But he did a stellar job. So, yeah, it was well done. It was well done.
Yeah, no, he had a cracking race, start to finish. Apart from that little off, which I suppose we'll touch on.
Oh.
That little off demo.
Yeah.
Jeez, I wish if Piastri just stayed on the island, just stayed on the island.
It's the curse.
Could we have broken the curse?
It's the curse. It's the Australian driver curse at the Australian Grand Prix, where just something meticulously falls apart, goes wrong, breaks.
I love the tractor. I was at Jeremy Clarkson's farm and I learned to back up a tractor, and that's how I got out of it. That was a great comment by Oscar.
It was pretty funny. Yep.
Man, it's frustrating to see. Sorry, how much pace and everything those two cars had, and not to come away with a 1-2.
Yeah, definitely a missed opportunity, and yeah, I think I don't know what it is. Weber got a fifth in a Minardi, and ever since that moment, we've never really had much luck. Weber never really nailed it here. No. Ricardo got a third that then got taken away from him, and we're just constantly on this treadmill of Australian drivers just can't make it happen. He did a great job, and like I know you mentioned a little bit on the socials, but just that never die attitude. Just right, I'm going to chuck it in reverse. I'm going to slowly get out of here. Scored some points with a brilliant round turn 9 around the outside of Hamilton. I mean, a little bit of a redemption, but gee, oh man, it was hard to watch.
Very hard, very difficult to watch. I will say this. I'll concentrate on the positives from that weekend for Oscar. The fact that he was a bee's dick away from taking pole position is excellent news for us going forward.
Yep.
And on top of that, he preserved his tyres at the start a little bit.
Yeah.
Just sitting back, and then pressured Verstappen into a mistake, which you don't often see. Yeah. And then closed a 3.5 second gap to his teammate before getting...
Don't move. Don't do anything. Just chill out. Team orders. Oh my goodness.
Multi-31. Oh, sorry, Mark. Wow. How is it that as soon as he arrives on the back of Lando, they make that call?
Well, okay, here's my take. I think it is finally we've seen McLaren doing the right thing. Do I think it was necessary at that point? No, but they were taking charge. They were saying, "Hey, get through the traffic. Don't fight each other, and then once you're through the traffic, go for it." And I think that's the kind of guidance and clarity that the drivers both need to fight well and fight fair this year. So obviously I didn't like it at the time. My initial reaction with a bit of red mist was just like, already you cut him off. But then when you got through the sequence and you heard the follow-up messages, I was like, okay, well done. I'm happy about it. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. And Steve, have we lost Steve?
Is it me?
Well, is it you or me? I think. Oh yeah, it's you. Oh dear, oh dear. What a start!
This is going crazy.
Welcome back, Steve.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I don't even know what I can do about it.
That's all right.
You're probably going to have to bear with me because it just keeps dropping in and out.
Yeah, that's all right.
Well done, IINet.
Oh, no. Yeah, look, it's... I was just talking about... Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good to see McLaren kind of take charge. And, as a general statement, the way they went about the weekend was far better than they did last year, where they were a bit clunky with strategy, a bit clunky with team orders. I think they did a good job overall. So, wasn't happy to hear that it's Oscar being penalised so early, but in the end, yeah, it was pretty good for me. I reckon, how about this chat? Every time I talk about that little situation, Steve freezes.
Mate, I don't know if you can hear me right now.
Yes, I can. Yep.
This thing is doing my head in. Like, I am literally watching an icon go off and on like a little bitch. I cannot believe that this thing's having that much of a problem right now.
Well, I'm going to try and power on. So even if you do freeze when you drop back in, we'll try and make it happen. So team orders were good. I don't know if you're with me now, you can give me your take on the team orders.
Right, team orders were shit.
Right.
I'm not interested in team orders. They can shove it up their ass, let them race. I don't care if there's a back marker coming up. Just let them race. The moment they actually told Oscar to stop, he got distracted. And that's when he had his little off and then fell back. And then they went, oh, that's okay. You can race now.
Yeah.
Fuck you, McLaren. I'm not interested in that. Just let them race.
Jesus. All right. Very different opinions. No, right, you've got the ability.
I have to watch this back just to get yours.
Yeah. Because I don't think anyone wants to hear me say it 3 times, all right?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah. Righto, so let's move sort of on to, let's change gears a little bit, and hopefully your internet is in better shape. Let's say great news for some, but absolute shock that I didn't notice it until way after that when a social media post highlighted it too. But Kick Sauber, and Stroll all finished ahead of the Ferraris. Oh.
Oh, come on. Absolutely huge. Can you kick Sauber?
Oh, no. All right.
Got not a free kick, but it was the right time to pit. And they all jumped the Ferraris who took like 3 laps to make a decision. I don't know if I got internet. I can't even hear you.
No,
I'm breaking up too much. Right. Cool.
Yeah, it's struggling a little bit there, but
it's struggling.
Yeah, we
hang on.
Cool.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll be back.
Okay, I'm going to switch the screen, and I haven't done this before, so let's go here. There we go. I've got a solo screen, and I'm going to kind of try and keep going. So let's talk about the Ferraris. Let's keep it happy and positive, right? Kick Sauber and surprisingly Stroll had great results. Hulkenberg getting some points. I mean, just after what they went through last year, and then Hulkenberg able to get some points is amazing. Well done. It must be. It'll be like taking a win, I think, for that team. Stroll just, I don't know if the telecast wasn't watching or anything, but he just kind of snuck in there and yeah, he ended up doing really well. And, you know, let's move on to a bit of the clown world with the strategy and some of the conversations happening from the pit wall to the Ferrari drivers was, let's say, disappointing. I know that Hamilton had quite a few conversations where he was trying to convey and to talk through, you know, when to leave him alone, when he needs certain information, you know, when he disagreed with stuff. So he's kind of betting himself in, but then to still hear some of the challenges on the Leclerc side was, just wasn't great. You know, I feel like they needed to extend out their strategy. The moment they were staying out and then decided to come in and do that pit stop, I just think ruined everything. They ended up way further back, and yeah, it was pretty disappointing on that front. But Steve, that
right.
sounds like
I'm hoping I'm back, mate. I'm hoping I'm back.
I've got I can hear you. We can see you. Everything looks good.
I've booted the wife off the internet. Told her to completely disconnect it, and I've disconnected my phone. She's not even on the internet downstairs. There's literally nothing but my PC on the internet, and it's having a conniption. Who knows what's going on?
All right, I was going to say, was she downloading something?
Absolutely not. Pardon me. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm worried about now is that but I literally have nothing else open. So who knows?
Oh, good. Good.
So you've spoken about Ferrari and their
disappointing strategy and the pit wall going back to, I don't know, kindergarten.
That's fair. I mean, did you hear some of the discussion between Lewis and his engineer? Got to K1, Lewis. I know about K1. Just let me drive.
Yeah, he was really. They were really betting in that relationship of what's what information at what point, and yeah, I think it was quite hilarious. But even on the Leclerc side, there was still conversations and weird stuff happening, and you know, it's a strange one. But I did also say it was great for Sauber, or for the Kick Stake Sauber team, whatever we call them now, and Hulk. You know, it was like a win for them.
Mate, if you'd said after testing that team would get anywhere near the points,
I think we said that wasn't going to happen.
Well, they bring up. It was fun. I was having a listen to. I think it was the race, and I was just saying they brought new side pods, new wings, basically a B-spec car.
Yeah,
and it worked. The car suddenly, wasn't hugely quick, but it was competitive.
Yeah. I mean, that's sort of what you want from that team, is where it can get competitive and snag some points where it can. You know, especially like you see that happen, and then you got like the Williams that really seems to have improved a lot. It was
Ted Kravitz. Oh, take a back slap. Like, well, it was a little bit of a backward comment. he walked past their pit lane. I think it was before qualifying,
Right.
and he's like, oh, there's not really any ingenuity here. It's pretty simple, but it's effective. I'm like, Jesus. All those hardworking people, bloody at the Williams crew, just sitting there going, "Screw you, Ted. Screw you."
Well, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I'm not really a fan of Ted. I think he lost a lot of value and bonus points from my end. I think the way he handled a lot of the max stuff, despite that was depending on what side you're on, but still, as a broadcaster, I just thought it was way too like out of line. And then I guess the best result is the fact that Albon scored a fifth. I know Saints had a crash, but they were competitive all weekend, and so I guess it's a bit of up yours to for Teddy's notebook.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. But speaking of, I'm not up yours, but the drops.
Yeah.
Haas.
That was.
They are in a world of pain.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go at different tracks, whether it was just something that happened with actually the upgrades or the stuff they brought. Because I believe they had a couple of new bits that it just seemed to not work. Yeah, that's a world of pain. For a season last year that was above expectations, they've definitely started well below. Well below.
So it's what I expected last year is what has transpired this year for them, which is the weirdest thing ever. But it's literally Williams picked up the ball again and Stage Sauber found some pace and suddenly they're at the back.
It's like, boom, we're back. Back at the
Jean!
Fucking door. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, people. We're swearing a little bit, and most of it's my side. Hope you don't mind that.
Yeah, that's all good. All good.
But dear. But I suppose other than the losses and everything else, and we'll get into a new segment very soon. Albon v Sainz, mate.
Yeah.
How do you think this is going to play out? Because I thought it was pretty juicy over the weekend.
I think it's going to be. My take is I know it got a little bit spicy, but I think they're both going to be pushing the team in the right direction. I think it's probably what Albon needs to kind of step up a little bit because he was basically breezing through being the lead driver, and I think with Saints there, it's definitely going to cause a bit of a dynamic shift, and it's going to cause him to kind of have to drive at his very best. So I think it's good. Yeah. I don't, unless they have it coming together, I don't see it being an issue.
Yeah, look, I don't think they're going to have it coming together, but I just think it's a fascinating dynamic, and I think they're very evenly matched. There was a little bit of time where you thought Sainz definitely had the ascendancy early on.
Yep.
And then come qualifying, he put in a great effort to pit Sainz, and I just think it's going to be such an interesting dynamic. I think they'll get along really well. I don't think there'll be any rivalry between them or anything like that. Sainz is just not built that way. Neither is Albon. But yeah, just in terms of their pace, I just think they're going to push Williams really well this year.
Yeah. G'day, Jeff. Yeah, we have. I've seen them. We'll come to those in a second. So I also wanted to flag because I know I think Saints is like the magic fairy dust, if you like. He seems to be able to drop into teams and they're always coming up, they're always improving, they're always doing better. And I actually think we might have underrated them in our estimates at the start of the year. That's what I think.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, you're right. Science typically goes to a team and they either improve or they usually just improve.
Yeah.
And I mean, already you can see at Ferrari without him there, the strategy call was odd.
Yeah.
Whereas that had settled down a lot after he arrived. So, yeah, look, who knows, mate? It'll be interesting. I think Williams are in a really good position to start building. But I think they'd be really smart to build for 2026.
Yeah, well, what is the sacrifice? Have they gone too much this year, and they haven't got enough in the tank for next year's new car? Who knows? But I'm all here for it. I think it was pretty cool,
Yeah, very cool.
Now let's have a quick look. I know Jeff's in the chat today, mate, and we've got Sarah back again. Well, I'll grab this. I'll grab the Supercars comment. We'll save that for when we're covering the Supercars. They are talking about you being frozen, and
yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, possibly he was broken from that. Yeah, indeed. But Sarah's like, F1 is boring. I fell asleep after 2 laps. It was a snooze fest, and the commentators are bloody pensioners. Make it so boring.
Wow, Sarah. That's a bit rough. I don't think it was boring at all. I think there was a section of the race that
there was.
Yes, I can understand.
Yeah.
But I think the overall was really good. I quite enjoyed it.
I did feel like it was a pretty good one. There was that little section where it did get a bit repetitive and a little just going through the motions, and then what do they say? Just add some water.
Add some water, and away we go.
Away we go. So, but that's okay. All right, we're gonna move to the next
new segment,
to the new slide. Ready? Actually, I don't know if you can see it yet, Steve. But anyway, I'm gonna go here, and it is called Rookie Watch.
Woo!
Nice. So we thought. Steve thought, actually, his idea. I'll give him the credit. Very well done.
Thanks.
That we wanted to do a bit of a chat about the rookies, and we just thought it'd be good just to keep an eye on them as an individual pack, as a group, to see how they go, because it was very mixed in the results. And yes, as he breaks up again. There we go. Oh, he's gone again. That's a great frozen face too. Wait till you watch this one back, Steve. So on the rookie watch, let's start with the good news, eh? Kimi Antonelli. Now I know he's got the Kimi Antonelli. He's using that name, but he really had a sprinkle of the Raikkonens, and he really did just pull it out. Ended up with a 4th. Got disqualified, or got a penalty, which was then later reversed, which is really rare, but there must have been some extenuating circumstances. And then, managed to secure 4th in his opening race. So that was awesome work from Andrea. He really showed some speed over the weekend, and really showed that he's all the hype is there and worthwhile.
And Kimmy did a great job. He was one of the ones that lucked out with, but overall,
got him right. I agree, Steve. I'm sure whatever you were saying was valuable. But those are words of wisdom. I might just keep moving on in the interest of time. So Doohan had a great weekend until that first lap, and he really, I think he really showed that his head's in the game. I thought some of the answers he had during the press conferences and things were really strong, where he's like, don't tell me about Colapinto. There's 4 drivers that are in the mix here for seats, and I've got to make sure I'm doing my best regardless of whether it's Colapinto or anyone else. So really showed up strong to the weekend, and was doing a great job, and then just got caught out by the conditions, which was pretty much the call for most of those rookies, where just the conditions got the better of them. And to be honest, when you've got people like Alonso making mistakes, you had senior, really experienced drivers that, struggled, and yeah, it was a lot to watch. Now, let's touch on Isaac Hedges. Nothing's really more embarrassing, I guess, than that formation lap and things happening. Oh, there we go. I've dropped you out. Let me go back to. Oh, let me go back here. Just while you get yourself ready, mate. Oh, you there? Nope. Nope. I'm going to keep going. So, yeah, Isaac just dropped it on the formation lap, which is hugely embarrassing. And, like, yeah, it's just one of those rookie things. But wasn't it just a telling of his environment that he's in and I guess the F1 paddock in general, where you have Dr. Marco, who's basically saying, I don't know why he's crying, like, harden up, let's get, you got to perform, let's go. And then you saw Lewis's dad with an absolutely perfect, touching moment where someone who has helped craft and develop Lewis into a 7-time champion just have those words of wisdom to Isaac to give him the comfort he needed, but probably he's got to reframe himself, get back in the game. It's a mistake. Don't dwell on it. All of these things I'm sure he said to Hamilton over the many years, that he just took that moment to actually console him. I thought that was really awesome and touching. And I just thought that, just chalk and cheese with the Marco comments versus the way Lewis's dad, Anthony, handled it. So, yeah.
I agree, if you can hear me.
He's back.
I don't know if I'm back, but I agree with that.
Mate, you wait till you watch the video, because you've got some cracking faces, mate.
Fuck. I tell you what, they are getting the boot tomorrow. I am giving it an absolute freaking earful. What in the world? Honestly, it's ridiculous.
Yes. Well, if you're back strong, I know. If you're back strong, give us your doing, your quick do and take, and your thoughts on Isaac on his formation lap crash.
All right, so doing, I'm actually really impressed. I know he dropped it during the race and very early on, but his pace was on par with Gasly.
Yep.
And that says so much more than having a little moment in trying conditions. As for Isaac, it's your worst nightmare. Yeah. I really feel for him. He had the smallest amount of lock on. He was probably on a painted line.
Yeah.
And that was it. As soon as it let go, he was done. Just the same as Sainz. Like, as soon as it lit up, it was done. So I felt for him. Like you said, I agree with that. Anthony Hamilton coming along and lending an ear and giving him a cuddle was great to see. Yep. And Mark at Helmo can go suck a fat one. I can't believe you would even make a statement saying how embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, mate, that's your driver. Put an arm around him and say, shit happens, let's go get him in the next one.
Yeah, I do notice that, like, that, just that age difference, right? And it's also a personality, but just that difference that I sort of feel like Helmut is further and further generationally away from where he needs to be to keep this team going strong. Yeah, I think it's always a hard thing being a Red Bull driver because you're basically going to be susceptible to that kind of behaviour anyway. But yeah, it just feels like it was. Yeah, these kids are young, and sometimes you just got to be a bit softer about the way you handle it.
I mean, they're always going to have problems. Well, not problems, but they're always going to have offs or little things that go wrong. I know they're in F1, but they're still young. Like, Isaac, I think, is 18.
Yeah.
Like, same as Antonelli. Like, they're so young.
Yeah.
So it's every likelihood that they're going to have a praying or something go wrong at some point.
Yeah.
So,
and as I said, that even like an Alonso, bins it. So the conditions were tough. So, it's fair play to the rookies.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
So Bortatello.
Bortoletto.
Well, yeah, Bortoletto. Sorry, I always say Bortatello. Sorry.
That's all right.
I always think
the
of.
reels I did Bortoletti. I'm like, oh, why
Oh,
did I say that?
I
But I
always
did
think
everything
of.
else perfectly, so I still posted it.
I always think of Portello. I think of the drink when I see his name.
Shit.
But what's your take on him, mate? Like, tough weekend, but pretty good effort overall in terms of some of his pace.
I think his race was tough, but I think he was bloody fast, like
Yeah.
faster than I was predicting him to be. He outpaced Hulkenberg almost convincingly in a couple of the sessions.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed with his debut. He dropped it in the end. Nor here nor there, trying conditions.
Yep.
It's going to happen. But he would have had a cracking result, possibly a top 10, if not. So, yeah, no, I'm pretty impressed with him. What about you?
Yeah, I think I was really surprised just in general with how good all the rookies were, especially in some of those sessions. It is always hard to know exactly what's going on because, fuel levels and what are they testing and what are they running. But I think it was pretty solid. And considering, I guess, my lack of awareness of what type of driver he was, some of his stuff he's done, I wasn't really across it. Like, I knew his name, but I wasn't really someone that followed him. And so I was quite surprised. And so I thought it was fair play to all. But yeah, he did a good job against Hulk.
Yeah, definitely. And the general consensus on him coming through, even though he'd won the F3 and the F2 titles, was that the people or the drivers that he was up against at the time weren't the strongest field. So people were downplaying that he was quick and not expecting too much from him. So I was basing it purely on that and thought, well, an experienced Hulkenberg should fairly easily towel him up. But no, he proved us wrong, and good on him. I think Helmut Marko also had something to say about a few of the other rookies, including himself, and he decided to prove him wrong.
Yeah.
So good on him.
Yeah, the best way, isn't it? And one of Marco's favourites, Lawson.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts, and I'll share mine because I think we'll make the most of your good internet connection while we've got it.
Hey. Slow, and I don't know why, and I don't think he knows why. And on top of that, I have a question for Red Bull: why were you running two different variants of the car? Well, so there were two aero philosophies going on, different wings and so forth.
Yeah.
Which would make it incredibly hard for Liam. Add into the fact that he had issues with his car on the Saturday and basically lost a whole session. At a track he doesn't know, has never raced on.
So just quietly, you've done a great job in terms of driver's excuse book of fair dinkum legitimate reasons why he's slow. Yeah, legitimate. Okay, he had a mate.
But it shouldn't be slow.
Well, we don't know. Like, how can you compare when you're running two different sets of aero kits, and they were remarkably different? Open area on the nose cone different. Some of the other plates and stuff. So it really is. I agree. The questions need to be asked of Red Bull, and I think at a track he's never driven, with a car that looked like it was in the worst configuration that they were struggling with last year, not running the same as Max, and also a rookie in trying conditions. I think some people, not all, but I think some people have been too harsh on him, and I just think I find it wildly unfair to make any judgment or basis on what that weekend was for him. I know people at Red Bull probably will, but yeah, I just think I think some of the commentary has been pretty unfair and like saying, oh well, Sergio would have done better. I'm like, oh my god, Sergio is like an experienced dude that should have been way up the order and never was. And so, yeah, I think it's been a bit unfair. That's my take.
Sergio plummeted when, started well and then plummeted, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't agree with that. And I don't think that he would have been any better. Sorry.
Oh, he's had that spicy flu, so,
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
Growing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's no way that Sergio would have done any better. In fact, he probably would have been worse. So
I agree.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of talk around Liam, and there's a lot of talk around Sonoda, and this seat is now becoming like the Australian Grand Prix for an Australian driver, where it's just utterly cursed. And I mean, I feel for him, and I hope he rebounds well at China, because he's not matched, but he's been within two tenths of max in all sorts of conditions before.
Yeah.
So I just don't see why he can't be again. So hopefully they give him the same car.
Yeah.
And then, knowing, I mean, I don't know if he knows China. Does he know China? Has he ever driven China?
I was just thinking that when you were talking, and I don't think he was there. He definitely wasn't there last year. I don't know if he's driven there in other cars, but I would say no. Yeah.
It's a tough start. So, look, I hope he rebounds. He just needs probably a top 10, get him there in Q3, and then just have a solid non-headline race. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, Steve's going to take us all cough break there. Good muting work. We're now going to talk and move. Well, actually, we'll just check the chat fairly quickly because Steve has got rookie net. I reckon that's about the quality of his internet. Good call. Steve, you need Starlink. Oh, yes.
Starlink. Oh, yeah. All right.
To be fair,
sounds expensive.
To be fair, Damo, Steve can't pronounce his own last name. Yeah, I sometimes he struggles with that too, I think. And
Jeez, that's rough.
Lawson's slower than a wet week. Well, it was very wet, so maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. So we're going to wrap up there and move into... Are you ready? Predictions. Because it's already China. We started preparing, putting the notes together, what we're going to talk about. And it's like, oh, yeah, China's this week.
China.
It is a,
China. We should have found a Trump snippet to put in.
Oh, China. I can't even do it. I won't do it justice, but
China.
Just we can do that in the review, mate. You can figure it out.
No, very good.
So we're gonna try our best and figure out who's gonna get pole, and then our winner, second and third. Quick question, Steve, on the fly.
Yeah.
How did we go against our predictions last week?
I don't know. What were our predictions last week? I know I put them up, but I've forgotten.
Let's have a look here.
Just happened one, didn't I? You're going to crack out the...
I'm going to crack it out. And
you're going to crack it out.
We had... we didn't actually do it.
No, because I put it on Instagram because I was crook as a dog.
That's right. No, yeah, you'll have to drag it out. It's not
I'll have to go. Hang on, let's have a look. Damo's F1 predictions.
Lando is going to grab a pole. I think Lando seems to be pretty fast at this stuff, so let's put him down for pole. And then let's go with a bit of...
There goes the internet.
Let's pick Oscar.
No, shush. I didn't say that.
Troubles on the start line or one of the early corners that Oscar gets the better of him. So I'm going to pick Oscar to win the race, Max to take second, and Lando come in third. So double podium for McLaren.
I got excited. Just hit the mic.
You
not too bad. Not too bad.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Hang on. Let's have a look at my rubbish.
I now remember what you did.
Oh. You know what? Mine's frozen.
Oh. Well, that's okay because playing that song might get us shut down on.
Shut down?
Because
how excellent that is just like stuck on, and I wonder if I fucked that up ages ago. I never noticed. Hang on, let's see if I've got it on my actual phone.
Yeah, because I think you had Oscar for pole, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, I did have Oscar for pole. I remember that vividly. And I think I had Max in second. Sorry. I think I had Max for winning.
Yeah.
And then I think I had Oscar second and Lando third off memory.
We were close in some regards, but just a little jumbled on some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little. So no good, nowhere. But it's going to be even worse for China.
Well,
China.
I'm going out there. I'm like taking such a rough guess at pole that I'm going to say Verstappen.
What?
Well, he did.
Really?
He did pretty well there. So last year, so I'm tipping he's going to be giving it a bit of a wrestle of the car and make it happen.
Mate, he was almost 4/10 away. Yeah, Melbourne.
I know.
Like that's. I think you are reaching, my man. Reaching way too hard on that one. Well, I've gone the polar opposite of Max Verstappen. I've gone for Oscar Piastri to take his first pole position in China.
For China, yes.
And the reason, not for China, China. But the reason I say this is because Aussies in the past have actually had a pretty good record at China. And I just have a feeling that Oscar's going to want to bounce back after that.
He didn't do so well there last year. Had some, some trouble. So that's why I'm going to say that Verstappen's going to bounce back because he doesn't like losing. But let's just say that if he can't muscle, like if they're way behind the McLarens, at China, there's not.
They're not going to be.
Yeah, it's not going to be a great year because we're starting to get into certain tracks, etc. That you got Japan, which is most likely going to suit the style for McLaren, and then we're all back at Bahrain. So it's like it's a good solid start to the year for McLaren if Red Bull can't get up.
Yep. Absolutely, I agree. But I think McLaren has got this year sewn up as long as they don't make mistakes.
Yeah,
that is my belief. But who have you got for the race, mate, in finishing in third?
I've said Norris. Norris finishing in third.
Did you hit your head?
No.
That's all right, because I went Norris as well.
I know. Yeah, I guess I'm sort of predicting, if I go through the rest of mine, I've got Piastri in second, and I've got Verstappen. I just sort of feel like...
Oof. No, reverse those two.
I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to say that, that he's going to come back because he gets a little angry and feisty and wrestles the car. So let's... that's sort of a Verstappen win. As I said, if they get smashed there, then, it could be game over.
I reckon, Piastri over Verstappen by about 12 seconds.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. You heard it here first, people. 12 seconds.
I'm the Oracle. And if it doesn't happen, don't call me.
The Oracle Red Bull Racing doesn't want, that's for sure.
No, that's it. It's so good. So good. Well, it'll be an interesting one. I mean, China is such a unique track. We've seen some interesting things at that track from greats. I mean, that was Supercars and things like that. But I mean, it always throws up a curveball here and there. But I just think it's going to be very suited to that car again. I just don't see anyone toppling McLaren there.
Yeah, I think that's the smart money. And with race times, still convenient for us Aussies. It's 6 p.m. It'll be nice. It'll be nice to watch that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Mind you, I am out for dinner, so I may potentially have the phone sitting. And I'll be great company there.
Perfect company. That's it. Don't get in my way of my F1.
No. Well, when you can watch it at a reasonable time and not be up late, I'm thinking they've got to take advantage of it. So
yes. Well, before we switch gears, mate, maybe we should check the chat. Is there anything going on in there? Because I can't see it.
Oh, okay. Well, we've had a few there. We've had that's where I got the vagina, because babies are made in vagina.
Jesus.
I reckon submitting wrong will win the weekend. Yeah, you're probably right. I should hold off on my submissions and then just pick the winners, because I reckon that's the only way I'm going to get them right. Nah, it's all a bit of fun. I'm okay with it. So it's I'll roll the dice, see how we go on that. Okay. Well, that kind of concludes the F1 stuff, mate. I don't think there's anything else. So that
kind of does. There was actually one that we didn't pick up on in that rookie.
Yes.
That I clearly didn't put down, and that was Ollie Behrman and his accidents.
We did.
That was a crash back to earth for a guy that was talked up a lot by certain commentators all last year.
Yeah, definitely. Probably the biggest surprise or the most shocking. He really struggled, had accidents, but then it's a bit hard to know with the Huss how bad it is. So,
it's bad.
He might be just trying to wrestle a car that's just gone backwards and has no stability, no balance, whatever's going on with that car, but it's definitely got no pace. It'll be interesting to watch him, because someone that came in with, did so well in that one Grand Prix and everybody started talking him up, and then it'll only take a few races for, oh my goodness, what's happened to him? He's forgotten how to drive, and, all that chatter's going to start.
Yep, that'll start up real quick.
Beautiful.
In this game.
Well,
anyway, moving on.
Let's go to the Supercars review.
Woo!
Yay. Wow. If you're a Chev or GM person,
it's a great weekend, wasn't it?
Well done to you, because there was no freaking chance of any of those Mustangs ever getting involved with anything. It's like they barely got up there at all. Jesus, it was tough. And I didn't even watch most of it. The only race that I could watch live, they cancelled.
Well, I suppose we can get into that to start with, because I am of the firm belief we have a series and a tyre that lends itself quite well to racing in the wet.
A new one too, like that's been revamped, and
I know they say in the instance of safety, but we are getting to the point now where just forget it if it rains. And I'm over it. Over it.
Yep.
You guys are all paid shit tons of money to go racing. Get your ass in the car and go racing. Team owners, pack it in. Yeah. If they crash, they crash. That is the point of racing, right? You go out, you prove you're either good or you're shit. And if you're shit, you'll crash. And if you crash, you'll have a repair bill. Deal with it. That is what every part of racing. It's all part of it. Just get in there and go racing. How many people were at the AGP waiting for it in the rain, and you has killed it? Honestly.
Whilst you were talking, I was just looking around behind me in case Beardo came out to throw some penalty points towards some teams or whatever. But hot take, and I do, in principle, I agree. I just sort of feel like there was whether they say it or not, there felt like the moving to sea freight for Taupo, meaning they had to have cars on the boat in 2 days' time. I just can't see how that wasn't some part of the decision. And I think it was really
It's
poor.
not apparently. I just read an article literally earlier today.
Yeah.
That I can't remember the guy's name. I probably should have brought it up, but because the internet's playing up, I won't.
Yeah.
But it literally stated from one of the heads of Supercars is that didn't come into play. It wasn't a discussion until after the fact. So they'd already made the decision to can it, and it was all based around safety. Do
you think they've ever lied to us before, Steve? Mate,
they lie constantly. There's no element of truth that comes out of that category's mouth at any point. Whoa. At any point. Okay, they talk shit all the time. Especially that other guy, Scaife.
Maybe not all the time, okay? Here's my disclaimer. But you're right. Like, it just sort of felt like, because it was, who was it? Taylor. And, yeah, I don't know. There was Clark, of course. There was a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
So it was about safety. And look, there definitely was elements of that, right? They had to take it into account. But I sort of feel like, and it might have been full credit to the noise, or one of them that I've listened to, one of the pods, where they basically say, just tell us you don't race in the rain anymore, and then no one has any expectation of ever turning up to watch a race if it's raining. And then that way we're done. And then we'll probably lose a couple of races every year, right?
Yep.
Because I feel it is a bit ridiculous. We need to get these people out racing, and they're meant to be the professionals and the best that we can get in the category. So they should be racing.
We are a winter sport.
Well, true.
Right? Primarily, we're a winter sport.
Yeah.
Yes, we sort of cross over a little bit, but primarily we're a winter sport. Winter brings weather.
Yeah.
You just got to go racing.
Yeah.
This is not NASCAR, right? And even then, NASCAR's trying to make it so they can go racing. They can't do it on an oval, but that's fair, right? You completely understand why you can't do it on an oval. But we're not on ovals. We're on street tracks, right? They've got runoff, they've got kitty litter, they've got soft armcos, as soft as they can be, right? Yeah. We've got roll cages in the cars that, are apparently the best available now, which is why it costs us $1 million to build these freaking things.
Yeah.
Let's go racing. And if it's too expensive to crash these cars, make them cheaper. Find a way. There are ways.
Yeah.
We've had such good, and to put a positive spin on it, we've had such good racing so far this year.
Yeah.
We don't want to lose that now. Not with this type of thing. It's just, it's getting frustrating again.
Yeah, I hear, and I know there's a couple of other topics that we're going to touch on that are going to get fired up. So let's make it a little bit more positive. And Matt Stone Racing, my goodness, bravo, well done, Mr. Hill, well done, Percat. Yeah, tough to watch, but they did such a great job.
Mate, they did an awesome job, especially Cam Hill.
Yeah.
The pole position, not pole position, second on the, did he get a pole? I feel like he got a pole. No, he didn't. Feeney got all the poles.
Yeah, Feeney got a pole and he
overtook him. Poles all the time.
Spicy.
Sorry. Probably for him. But no, Cam Hill mugged Feeney at the start, took the lead. Percat muscled his way into second.
Yep.
Held off the bulls. Took it. Just the whole weekend for them after that really unfortunate start at SMP. I like that team. They are, I suppose, my Camaro team.
Yeah.
And that probably just harks back because I was an SBR fan all those years ago, like you were.
Yep.
But so good. And even that Percat race with the power steering going to muscle it through. Well done. Well done.
I think the big takeaway, with Cam Hill was at no point, like, he looked like he wanted the win, and he was driving it in that fashion, didn't make, the mistakes. Like, he really, for a relatively youngish driver, not a rookie, but a young driver, he really just took that position and made it his own. So it was really good to watch. So you kind of got that vibe of He wanted it. He was driving hard to, to make sure he got it. Had the restarts he had to go through, nailed those every time. So it was just a really good effort overall. And yeah, Percat having to muscle the car home and just making it as wide as a bus. It reminded me of Chot Bao,
I did. Yeah, that's exactly who it reminds you of. Oh, JB, we miss you, buddy.
We do. So what do you make of Brock Feeney? I had all these polls. I was seeing all these posts that were popping up forward, and it's like, okay, he's having a good one, but did he really convert?
No, not really. No, he's missing a few strings in his bow. He's fast. We get that.
Yeah.
So he should be. He's in ultimately the fastest car. I mean, you could actually sell it that Brown underperforms in qualifying, which makes Feeney look better.
Jeez, he's struggling on that. That's a separate
thing.
He
is. But that's a completely different thing. But Feeney struggles in the race.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't possess good racecraft. Personally, I just... If he has a dominant car, which I mean, arguably he has a dominant car. But if it's perfect, he can drive away, and that's cool. But if he's under threat, I think there's 2 instances where I've seen him actually be able to hold it out, and then the rest of the time he gets mugged.
Yeah. So obviously, that first race, which is race 4, but the first race of the weekend, he managed to secure it all up and kind of drive it home. But then, got mugged by Cameron Hill and then got mugged by his teammate in that, the race 6. So, and then I was just having a look because I thought, where is he? He's actually 4th in the standings. And if you looked at, his polls and stuff, you would feel like he should be doing much better.
You'd have an argument saying, no, he has to be at the top or near the top. And look, he's near the top. He's 4th. It's not like he's out of it. But when you take away where Brown has been qualifying and the fact that he's leading the championship, it just blows your mind.
Yeah.
Couldn't be completely different. Just opposite ends of the earth, those two. And yeah, I mean, I suppose we'll touch on Waters, but man, they dropped the ball as well, and they don't even know what. I mean,
yes, that's the part that I'm struggling with. Is that they're just sitting there like, okay, you've dropped the ball, but they didn't seem to have any answers as to why.
No, between both the WAU cars and Waters talking about how the car was mega in the race.
Yeah,
but nowhere in qualifying. The most consistent car from the Ford fold was Kostecki.
He's just building nicely, isn't he? Just building nicely.
If he's not dominating by year's end, there's something wrong, I think. I mean, they are literally turning that car upside down and landing results. And the guys that have been used to this car for now, 3 years, I don't know. I just it's so frustrating.
Yeah, it was. He seemed to just. He tried to really had to really fight to get any kind of result. So, still manages to sit nicely in the championship. But yeah, Tickford just had a terrible weekend.
They recovered well, especially that first instance. I think. Waters finished 6th in every race. It was a great recovery, but you need to start up the front. And unfortunately, the time they actually qualified was the race that was cancelled.
Yeah. Oh, how disappointing was that? Oh my goodness.
Especially with Brown at the back. I'm like,
just what the championship needed, right? And it's get out of jail free. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yeah, well, I think as Sarah in the chat, Waters ran dry. Nice one. I like it. As you also said, Cam finally got over the hill. So there you go, got over his hill. So let's move into some penalties and stuff because I know there's some hot ones. Well, let's start with the Brown stuff. Now, you've asked that question. Should the penalty be sustained and pushed
to the next
forward?
Race. Yep. I think
I know what you're going to say, yeah.
If you don't serve the penalty, I think the penalty stands for the following race. I know it's at a different time, but I'm kind of like, you know what? You haven't been penalised. You got to, and it's the championship leader. That's, come on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in F1, so in some version of FIA rules, that is the case. I don't know if it is the case or not. And I've sort of been waiting for people to talk about it, but it seems to be very quiet out there. Like it's like, don't mention the war, and then that way, no one's going to flag it. But it seems like a very interesting one because, if you haven't served it, if you've been given a penalty and the race is officially not run, so there is no race, that it should technically carry over. But, geez, that'll be tough, eh?
Yep, but we're not going to get that because, Supercars play it different to everyone else, so we'll turn up. He'll probably qualify on pole in Taupo, and then we'll all be sitting there throwing our arms in the air. Well, I will.
Yeah, there'll be a few of us doing that. And then I guess let's talk about severity because I watched that race on repeat because I was still coming into the country at the time, so I did not get a good view of it until I watched the replay. But there was a hell of a lot of shit going down with people posting stuff, people being ordered to take it off, or there's going to be penalties. Let's just start with the actual incident between LeBrock and Woods, and then we can move on to some of that ancillary stuff after that. I know your take. I can predict it because you've been angry as anything that it was unfair. And when I watched the replay, I could not believe that he got a pit lane penalty for that. I'm like, they're effectively side by side through a corner. Looks like they both kind of squeezed each other a little bit. There was definite room on both sides, but it was, close to the outside for Wood. And I can't understand how that is a pit lane penalty.
Neither can I. And the fact that you hear Wood feathering the throttle, which means he's trying not to have an accident.
Yeah, he's trying to hold on the outside. Yep.
Far out, man. If you are that far up the inside, and let's be honest here, that camera that's facing backward that is about the only vision we got on the day really shows that he's miles up.
Yeah.
On its own.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it was a dive bomb. Beardo referred to it as a dive bomb, but it really wasn't. He had overlap from the corner before.
Yeah.
He followed that through. He got essentially alongside. They had a couple of bumps. The unfortunate part to that is that LeBrock dropped it. Whichever way, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant, right? The end result is he found a fence. Okay, well, too bad. I mean, you go in there, you're racing. Sometimes contact happens. Sometimes it results in the guy on the inside spinning. Sometimes it results in the outside guy. Sometimes it doesn't happen at all. We go racing.
Yeah.
And I really feel like this is the Barry effect. Like, it literally went from that to Barry having a whinge and then bang, penalty.
Yeah, the initial thing was they were going to review it after the race. And then, obviously, because of the downtime, they've looked into it. But, I mean, there's no doubt that I don't think Barry was there on the weekend, was he? I think from memory, he was. Okay.
He apparently made I haven't seen it, but apparently he was up in arms and having comments about it.
Right.
and that's what resulted.
If you're that team, I think that's fair. Like have a crack at the stewards and just say, try and get them penalised because you're having to fix a car and
standard.
But yeah, it was not a dive bomb because that corner is not a typical corner. It's not. He hasn't dived in by braking late. He's got a better run out of the prior corner. They're going side by side through that corner, which is a kink. Yeah,
I'll say this.
I was absolutely bamboozled.
If Wood wasn't far enough up the inside, they both would have ended up in the fence together.
Yeah, fair call. I think I know what you mean. Yeah, like they would have ended up spinning together.
Because he would have ended up turning,
and
then they would have gone off into the fence. Basically, where Courtney ended up.
Yeah, yeah, but because they were actually side by side, he's always just bounced off him. So it's a good way to look at it too.
I don't know. That's my take on it. I could be completely wrong. I actually believe, and this is the hot take. After Scotty and SVG and everyone else having a jump in, but I actually believe that Supercars owe him an apology for that penalty.
Yeah,
that is my firm belief, but whether anyone else, I don't know.
I don't think that's going to happen. Right. So yeah, we will quickly just touch so Vision was shared, and just so it's really clear in case people haven't read the right news, some of the early stuff it was all talking about, that Supercars were trying to silence Apex Hunters and all that. But what it actually was it's all to do with the rights, and it's to do with that was internal footage, and it's not meant to be shared. So they were kind of within their rights to say, hey, pull it down. So nothing too untoward on that front, but it was certainly that Vision really, I don't know how you can watch that and not understand that, it was... it was a fair move and play on. And he's dropped again. All right, let me keep moving since we're getting there in time. It's been over an hour already. We are going to touch on, where are we? Let's go to a bit of a good news story. Di Pasquale has done... Actually, I'll change this just so you don't have to look at his frozen mug for too long. There we go here. Di Pasquale, had a really good, solid weekend. And it was just, compared to some of the misfortune and his own errors and stuff that Reynolds went through, he really is really having a great weekend. But what we found very interesting was the conversation around... the Mustang and the engine, which happened after. And there's definitely something happening, and I don't know if there's been changes. They haven't spoken about it. There was a lot of clarity and people sharing the stuff in towards the end of last year or during the last year, but I don't know why suddenly the engine is such an issue, because we always know Bathurst is a problem, but then to have it so dominant in Camaros, they obviously made some tweak, or that engine is not working in the way that it should, and it really needs to be looked at, because it's they've still got so much work to do, and it's an ongoing process. They'll always have to try and tweak it, but it was really just a bit of a problem. Now, if we move on to the love story, do we think, I'll put it out to the chat and to others, do we think that, Steve's trying to reboot. Oh, okay, that's a big one. Let's see how he goes. Do we think that Aaron Cameron was, I guess, do you think he was a step above Love? Because he's had some mixed results, and looks like he had some challenges over the weekend. And look, when JC's destroying a car, it's never good for a team. And I just think at the moment that the BRT team are really, they're in a world of pain. And I just don't think any driver's getting the best that they can out of it. There were moments where they were actually, the cars were fast and they looked like they could be okay. and then, it just didn't pan out for them at all. So, interesting to see if Steve Reboots gets back on. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it was really just the team can't seem to get a break, and there's still a bit of work for Aaron to kind of get up there. Aaron Cameron, that is, to settle into that team, I think. And then let's cut to some general news. Hang on a second. Wait. We're going to try this. Although he's joined, but I can't hear him. So something else is going on. He's connecting.
Can you hear me?
We've got him. He's back.
Jesus Christ.
Well, he's not helping you, so I don't think you should take his name out, mate. Because clearly...
Oh, man.
Yes.
I'm getting a phone call tomorrow.
I bet. Yeah, I agree, Sarah. Like, BRT, they're looking pretty weak at the moment. They're really struggling. And, yeah, they need some more money, or they need better engineers. They need to pay people to get that car back where it needs to be, because... Yeah, it's a tough gig for Aaron Cameron to kind of step up in a team that's struggling. Yeah.
Having said that, I think Aaron did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think he did okay. I think for where the team was, yeah.
He didn't get anything in the lead up. He literally just had to jump in the car on the weekend.
That's true. I did forget about that. But he did show. Both those drivers showed pace in those cars at some point. It was just like, just struggling a little bit.
They are. Well, it doesn't help that, it doesn't matter which driver, but, JC binning it, and, Love has binned the car twice. Like, it's getting hard.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I was just moving on to the general discussion, and I might, since you're back, Love is heartbroken. We got them all the one-liners. I'm loving it. Thank you. So there's been talk about Triple Eight re-homologating the Mustang to the Dark Horse.
Yeah. So
under the
rules, you're not allowed to re-homologate. So the only car that's meant to be getting homologated at the end of this year is the Toyota.
Yep.
However, there's Ford making noise that they could re-homologate to the Dark Horse, which is what the NASCAR is based off.
Yep.
And use that, because there's slight differences between the two, use that as an excuse to re-homologate and get Triple Eight's efforts in the wind tunnel. But it does sound like Supercars aren't really happy about it.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think it's a gross waste of time and money, right? I know what it is Triple Eight trying to get their input, because they can probably see things that they would have changed or would have done differently. But, to be honest, the category doesn't need it. We're only, we're still working on the engine parity, as I mentioned before, but we need to keep the costs down. I think if we can keep the shell there, no re-homologation, it does sniff of just Triple Eight trying to play the card. And I know Ford are trying to push that as well. But, I think they've got bigger issues to worry about. They need to work on engines, because KRE are not doing the Ford engines, that's for sure. So, wonder what they're going to do there.
Well, that's the biggest thing, right? So, personally, I don't think it's an issue on the aero front. I think with helping panels stay down and things like that, like they've done this year, it should be fine.
Yep.
It is all in the engine. And Anton made that statement as such just after the GP, when he was asked directly what's the main differences between Camaro and Mustang, and he says all in the engine.
Yeah. I mentioned that it's fair game when they can quite clearly articulate the difference, but not many people do mention it, so it's fair play to him. One thing that we need to go back to, which is something that Sarah asked early on, and I said we touch on it, so now that you're back, we're doing this. Time certain bullshit, she writes, that they put 19 more laps on for the fans. The time certain stuff is... it sort of felt like you understand the concept because we're not the main game there. But when there was so much time between activities, when the old days we used to have support race after support race, and so you really had to be tight on the times because if you take too long or go over, etc., then the whole weekend, all that day was going to get screwed. But there was heaps of gap. There was heaps of time for them to roll a bit longer, and so the time certain stuff gets a bit frustrating. I'm on board that it's a bit, it's fair. Be fair about it if you're going to apply it. That's probably the way I'd say.
Yeah, time certain is it's always a point of conjecture. I particularly take offence to it, I guess, when it's like a Sandown 500 or a Bathurst. I mean, they haven't done it for the 1000, but for like the 500, they have numerous times.
Yeah, got to go to the news. Like, fuck you. We're swearing a lot this one, but yeah.
But like, if you have a number against it, whether it's 500 kilometers or whatever, then I fully expect that we get that race.
Yeah.
Right? That is the race, and it doesn't complete until that kilometer range is complete, in my opinion. Now, in this instance, when you're the backup category at the AGP, I completely understand why you do have to have a time certain. And it's less of a problem when it's only 19 laps and you get 17 of them.
Yeah.
So it didn't bug me as much over the weekend as it would at their own event, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of give them a bit of slack, as I said, but it's still, I don't know. Anyway, let's go. The last couple of things we've got here. So, Lowndes. Lowndes.
That was disappointing, wasn't it? That was the only reason. Out of all the news of Triple Eight coming across, I was like, oh, Lowndesy back in the Ford, that'll be all right. It's the only thing I cared about. And then he's like, oh, I'm staying with GM. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah. As I said, kind of on our socials, fair play to him to kind of, and to GM to go, right, we're losing Triple Eight. Let's throw some cash around. Let's keep some key personnel. Lowndesy being a big one for their brand. So
Jeremy Moore, massive
that Jeremy Moore decided to stay on the GM side. So, that's really good. I think for them. But
yeah, definitely. Look, we've said it once, we said it twice. You need them in the category, right? We don't like losing to them, but they need to be there, just the same as the other way around. They need Ford to be there as well. Otherwise, it just, the category doesn't make sense otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. And then our favourite topic, one of the last we'll cover, which is always really strong on social medias, is the Roland factor. What's he doing now? Is he stealing people? Is he working with GM? Is he colluding? Everybody's got a theory on this bloke. But the last thing is he's stealing people and building up his own little empire at Premiere, apparently.
Yep. So here's how is it worded to me from a source that I won't lay out.
Yes. This is actually not a rubbish thing either. There's some legit source in this one. Yep.
It's the Gold Coast Mafia.
The Gold Coast Mafia. Jeez, you'll end up with a hit out on yourself, mate.
I'm not Nate. I'm just saying there's a mafia apparently up in the Gold Coast, and there's a few in there, and you just sort of twang, bang, and they make things happen.
Let's
just say that, and Roland may or may not be a big part of that.
Well, I look forward to some of this being uncovered and being reported on. We'll see. Watch with anticipation.
I think it's fair to say that. I mean, I've written here T8.2 and I think Premier will. I would suggest would be that team.
Yeah.
There'll be a resurgence. I don't mean that Roland will be running it. I just mean that it'll be very much set up similar.
Yeah, he'll. I'm sure there'll be some consulting work because he was consulting the GM. So, you know, yeah. But you know, it's an interesting one to watch because, yeah, they really are. Well, from all the whispers and the rumors, they really are becoming that lead homologation probably team.
All arrows are pointing that way.
Yeah.
At this given point. Yeah.
It is.
For sure.
All right.
Did we make it through?
Not
really.
You didn't, but I did.
I'm so sorry, guys. I can't believe that my internet has had so many problems. It's the first time it has ever really had that much of an issue. Sure, it's had a drop here and there, but this has been outrageous. And thank you, Damo, for holding up the fort. And
don't thank me until you've watched the video, okay?
I'm sure it'll be fucking terrible.
Because I'm like, oh crap, I don't know how long you're going for. I'm gonna keep moving. You know, we've been like an hour and 20 minutes. It's been a while. But just the last little bit, that's all good. Yeah, Triple Eight did say they want to do all the homologation work inside or in-house.
Yep.
But, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with the engine deal. I'm sure there's some healthy discussions happening at the moment between DJR and Triple Eight on that front, I would suggest.
Yeah, I think Triple Eight have a lot going on, but I don't think they have an engine facility set up. So I don't think they would be able to bring that in-house just yet. So... they might build something, perhaps. Yeah. I don't know. But I honestly think, if the smart play here, personally, is to turn around to Ford Performance and say, guys, you need to pick this up.
Yeah.
We need your help.
Yeah. And I think my thought was exactly that, and then bringing them in to bolster the DJR thing, right? So make it more... Forward performance people as part of the deal, and that should help. I think everybody. That should help everybody because they'll have access to the dynos in the US. They can chuck stuff on. They can really make it work. Happy days on that front, I think.
Yep.
And lastly, RD, the new Premier Boss. Yeah, well. There's some whispers, but I'm not sure it's going to go that deep. And one race, they only did 12 laps out of 19. Yeah, that was the Cam Hill one, and that was tough because of the safety car stuff as well. It was a bit messy, but yeah.
When you have three safety cars in a race, that's always going to happen, unfortunately.
It is. Well, with that, Steve, thanks for attempting to be online.
No. Thank you to everyone who stayed online, even though my internet was taking a dump.
And look forward to the screen grabs of your face at some point.
Oh, God, no, please don't. Jeez.
Yeah. AGP is becoming the time certain championship. It certainly is. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Follow us on the socials. We're putting more stuff up there, and we'll keep you in the loop on that. Yep. And other than that,
the Valve Bounce guys on Instagram. We are on Facebook, but obviously more happens on Instagram than it does on Facebook because nobody wants to comment on Facebook. But yeah, definitely have a chat. We are on X, so hit us up on there as well.
Beautiful. Thanks everyone. We'll see you next week.
Will do. Bye, guys.
Bye.